You know, I love a good behind the scenes. And so today I am bringing you a behind the scenes sneak peek inside of the collective. Week 3, we do a room edit. A room edit is a complimentary gift from me to one of the members of the collective, where I am giving the possibility and the potential of transforming a room in their home. I'll explain a little bit more about it in the episode. But inside of the collective, we have weekly lessons. 2 weeks, the first 2 weeks of the month, I deliver them on Tuesdays. I give more of a classroom style lesson. They are highly visual, they are really short, and they are power packed so that you can take action and make transformation in your own home. I call them Why It Works and Styling School. Styling School, as you can imagine, gives you really practical, tactical tips for how you can style things like mantles, bookshelves, tablescapes. Why It Works is taking an explanation and an exploration of a picture that we might see on Pinterest, something we would all stop our tracks in, whether we like it or not, and explain why this design works. What is it about that picture that is making this work, so that you can then transfer those skills to your own home. Short, simple, succinct. The next 2 weeks, we focus on these two things. One is a live Q&A, and whether you are able to be there live or not, you can pre-submit a question, get your question answered, and make real progress in your home. And then, of course, the room edit, which is what you're going to hear today. This is so fun to create. It is where my creativity really comes to life. And it showcases a lot of times the style or the direction that the client, the person in the collective, wants to go, but gives them a boost. It's like, imagine you teaching your kiddo how to ride the bike. And at first you're holding their hand, you're holding the handle, you're walking right beside them, you're saying, good job, buddy, here I go, are you ready? They're getting more confident, and then all of a sudden from behind, you give a teeny tiny little push and you watch them go. That is what a room edit is. So I want you, as you're listening today, you have an assignment. Whether you're a part of the collective or not, I want you to imagine. I want you to imagine this is your own room. I want you to imagine sharing with me the pictures of the room in your home that is driving you absolutely bonkers. And I want you to imagine what you have tried, what you have thought about doing, and what you still have not yet done. And I want you to imagine getting a little bit of help. What would it look like for you to make transformation in your own space? Inside of the collective, these members are action takers. There has been so much progress forward, confidence that is being built, and rooms that are transforming from the inside out. What would that look like for you? What would that look like for you to finally say, okay, you know what? That living room that has been driving me bonkers for like 15 years, it's time. It is time to take action. What would it look like for you to stop tripping over the things that are in your laundry room to make it more functional so that you can actually do the laundry? What would it look like for you to invite people over and not be embarrassed when you open the front door or make excuses for why your home looks the way it looks and all the projects that you have that have not yet been done? What would that look like to finally feel confident going to whatever your favorite home design store is, home decor store, and pick product that you are not second guessing on, that you're not then coming back to the store 3 weeks later to return because it didn't quite work? What would that feel like for you? Friend, I want you to imagine this is you when you are listening to today's room edit, because that transformation is possible. And what would that look like to have that be your home? That is a question I want you to think about. And the next thing I want you to think about is coming to my free 3-day live workshop, September 9th, 10th, and 11th. I am teaching you 3 steps to creating a home that you can't stop gushing about. These are the foundational pieces that you need to make strong decisions, to make decisions that you no longer regret, to spend your money wisely. Wouldn't that be so wonderful? To be able to choose color palettes that work with your space, to be able to identify what is working, what is not working, to finally be able to put a little stamp on this thing called your design style. What is that? We are diving headfirst into that training September 9th, 10th, and 11th. And hey, if you can't make it with me live, it is not a big deal. Register for the workshop. Everyone who registers will get a replay delivered to their email so that you can watch it in your PJs, having popcorn later that night. Friend, this training, if you did nothing else with me, no decorating SOS calls, no collective, this training is going to give you the jump start that you might need in order to make the next step forward, the next confident step forward. So if you've been sitting on a fence for a while, if you've been thinking, yeah, the collective sounds great, but I'm not quite sure, or a decorating SOS, oh, it sounds so scary, but I really want to do it. Friend, this is non-committal. Come and join me in this free 3-day live workshop where I'm going to teach you the core foundational pieces that you need in order to take the next step forward. Come and join me. You can register by going to bit.ly/fall 2025 workshop. And I promise I do not bite. So come and hang out with me over here on the workshop where we're going to be having some fun. I'm going to be giving away some free things to those who attend live and definitely answering your questions. So on day 3, you're going to want to bring me the good stuff because I am going to answer those questions for you, and you're going to get a taste of what it's like to be inside of the collective on those live Q&A days. All right, friend, are you joining me? All right, back to the behind the scenes. We grew up with the phrase, home is where the heart is, but our culture has shifted, and now the message is, home should be Pinterest perfect. I'm calling BS on that message. Home, it's not about the stuff, it's about the story. And whether you know it or not, your home is a reflection of you and is already saying something. So what is it that you want it to say? Hey, I'm Danny, a former first grade teacher turned home decorator. Going from a dual income to a single income so I could stay home with my babies meant budget, like ramen eating, Goodwill shopping budget. And I learned a few things along the way, like how to bring big style to your home without breaking the bank. And I'm sharing it all with you. Tips, tricks, decor, and design advice so you can learn to tell your story with your style, where you can start living free from the Pinterest perfect trap and start living a life of intention. Welcome to Fig and Farm at Home, where we design happy living and where it doesn't have to be perfect to be beautiful. All right, it is one of my very favorite times of the month where we talk about a room edit. Now, what is a room edit? If you are new here, a room edit is where you submit a room that has kind of been driving you a little bit bonkers for who knows how long, a month, 3 years, who knows how long, but you want a little bit of help and you want to go fast too. So what you do is you submit a picture or 2 or 3 or 4, enough for me to get a 360-degree view of your space. And you give me a little bit of information to tell me what it is about your space that you are no longer liking, things that you're wanting to use your room for. And then I give you some high-level recommendations for what I see as the potential of your room. This is not specific, so I don't necessarily pick specific products. So if I do have one in mind that I happen to have seen maybe while working with another client, I'll definitely share that. But usually they are high-level recommendations, and then you are able to go on your own. Room edits come with rationale, so you know why it is I'm saying what I'm saying, and that it's not just Danny's silly little ideas coming to light here. Today is a fun one. This is by far the most dramatic room edit I have ever done. Dee, are you ready? Your spare room is about to get a room edit, and I'm curious. I wish I were in the same room with you as you're doing this, and I don't want you to be scared now that I say that. Okay, here is Dee's room. This is her, what used to be, it's a spare room. It used to be an office. It used to be an exercise room. It used to be, what else did you say it used to be? And now they use it for morning coffee, working on the computer, chatting about their plans for the day. The cover over here on the windowsill needs to stay because it belongs to, it's for the grand dog. They don't want to disturb the beautiful millwork there. Dee doesn't necessarily like the couch, and she doesn't necessarily like the recliner. You can see that here, but she does really want her husband Jim to have a recliner as long as it goes with the space. She's mentioned that the artwork, she really loves to have family photos in here, but it has been put up haphazardly, and so she would like to be a little bit more intentional with that. She's thinking about removing the desk and the desktop. Dee, are you planning on moving the desktop? Where would you put that? And work from a laptop? What else did she say about her space? She's going to remove the mirror. Okay. All right. So she uses this room right now to read, to study, to check her emails, to work on the computer, to have her coffee in the morning. And here we go. Dee did not have an inspiration photo, so I found one for her. Now, I've been working with Dee for the past year-ish or so, and she's just transformed her living room and working now on her dining room. Her color palette is whites, a foundation strong white, and blues. And she's done a great job of transforming that, has grown a lot in confidence in the confident decisions she's been making. And now we're going to challenge her just a little bit, because this is the inspiration I see for a room that is meant for all of the things that she's going to be using it for. A study, a place to start your day, a place to just really reflect and think about what your day is going to be looking like, work on the computer, a place to just kind of cozy up and relax. Okay, so here are my inspiration photos. Dee, I would love to hear what you think about this. These are both gorgeous rooms. I absolutely love them. Of course, their colors are a little bit different than your color palette, but this one's a darker, moody green. They're very bright, even though they are ensconced with dark coloring. So the purpose of the room is, in my mind, is to make it a cozy den, a cozy retreat for all of the same activities you are currently using right now for reading, relaxing, laptop work, and watching TV. So here are my recommendations. I'm taking a second to interrupt so that I can explain to you what the inspiration photos look like. I have two here. Both are very clearly what look like dens. They are comfortable rooms that are completely color drenched. One is a deep blue with a lot of gray undertones. The other is a deep green with a lot of gray undertones. When you're color drenching, sometimes choosing a deep color, a saturated color with the gray undertones, rather than something that's really rather bright, can make it feel so incredibly cozy. Now, one room has a white ceiling. They didn't choose to paint the ceiling. The other one has some texture on the ceiling, and I'm not talking popcorn. They did what could look very similar to shiplap on the ceiling, and they painted it. They both, of course, are decorated beautifully. The one that has blue with gray undertones has built-in shelves, built-in cupboards flanking a fireplace. The green one has some wall treatments that are picture molding and a gallery wall of really fun, you can't see them very closely, but really fun pictures that are not necessarily symmetrical. So if you've been hanging out with me in the collective, you know that we have symmetrical or structured gallery walls, and we have unstructured gallery walls. And this is an unstructured gallery wall. That one also has sconces on the wall that are flanking the gallery wall. Each room has an area rug that has the base foundation that is the same color as the walls, so it really ties in the space together. And then it has other colors as well. Both rooms have windows, so it's really airy and bright, even though they are ensconced in color. And they both are very, very conversational. Each room has a seating of 4. The room that is blue has some really lovely camel-colored velvet chairs, maybe a little bit more mid-century if I were to lean one style way or another. The other one, they have camel-colored chairs, so that really warm color, and they are leather. These chairs are not reclinable, but they do have a coffee table or an ottoman in the middle. This gives you an idea of where I'm taking Dee as I continue on in the room edit. All right, Dee. My recommendation is to remove everything from the room except the artwork, the coffee table, and I do have that in air quotes because you'll see why in a minute, and then the windowsill for cover for your grand dog. Everything else we're going to start over with. You're already wanting to get rid of the couch. You're already wanting to get rid of the desk. You're already wanting to get rid of the recliner. So the other two pieces are the piece underneath the TV. Oh, you'll keep the TV. The piece underneath the TV and the little bookshelf in the corner. Those I think we can rehome or gift somewhere else because I have a plan for you. Now, I want to stay true to the color palette we already have. Your color palette of whites and blues, we're going to keep it, but we're just going to flip it. And we're going to make this room. Now, once you have that door shut, you can really play however you want to, but we're just going to flip it and let the blue be dominant in here. And then we can bring in some whites and creams to kind of soften it up a little bit. This... If this were my home, now all of these recommendations, by the way, are what would I do if this were my home? And these are the limitations I have, or these are the inspiration pieces I'm coming up against. I would color drench your room. I would even consider painting the walls and the ceiling, excuse me. Let me show you really quickly. In this inspiration, we see one is not color drenched completely. They left the ceiling white. This one, however, is, and I really love this because they added a little bit of fun texture to the wall or to the ceiling. You could do the same thing and add a planking that's like a shiplap above, and it draws your eye up and it allows just a little bit more texture. In my recommendation, I'm not saying that to necessarily do a wall treatment like this, but you could. My other recommendation is along that wall where the desk currently is, the desk and the recliner, to add bookshelves all along that wall. Now, in order to add bookshelves, what my thought is to make them look built in. So you can do this by having prefab bookshelves. I'm not sure if your town has an IKEA, but you don't have to go to IKEA. You can get them from Amazon, and you can build them out, and I can work with you closely in order to do this. You can build them out and mount them in such a way that you can add molding to the outside to make them look built in, but it saves considerable time and effort and expense. But the idea here is that they look built in, and you paint those the same blue as you have on the wall and the ceiling. So we are color drenching the entire space. You'll get 2 new recliners for this room and that are going to flank the windows, because we're going to have that TV be still in the same spot, but we're going to bring in a wooden console, something warm, a warm wood that is a deeper tone than the doors, something that we see like a knot within your wood, but on the deeper end. And we're going to put the TV on top. So you can still have TV time, but you're also using it now for a space for relaxing and comfort and cozy. The gallery wall, you were going to create a gallery wall with the art that you have. Some of it will go strategically placed and styled on the bookcase. Others will go where the mirror was. The other thing I don't have here, but what we would want to do is bring in a really large, round coffee table, something that is really considerable that you can use as a spot to play games. You can use in order to put your feet up. My thought here is something that is upholstered so that we can put our feet up first, and then we can always play games on it if we want to. Okay, here's your room, D. So of course, we're not touching any of the millwork. The millwork is all this really lovely honey oak, but we're painting the walls a deep blue. We're bringing in a recliner, a leather recliner, and the same leather recliner on both sides of the window. And I have some curtains here, and those curtains, I'm envisioning a deeper velvet, something that is still in the blue family, whether or not it has pattern on it or not, but something that is similar to the tone of the wall, the shade of the wall, maybe just a shade or a tint deeper, that really kind of helps envelop the space and make it feel that cozy. All of the artwork that you have, what I could tell from the picture, is all framed in black. So fantastic. We're just now going to bundle it and be really strategic with how we put it together. And we also want ambient lighting. So here, I have a sconce, but we might just choose to have a library lamp right here, a library lamp for each of you on either side, or we might choose to have a sconce and a library lamp. Now, these are so, electricity has come a long way in the last few years, and there are sconces you can have that you don't have to hardwire. So that's why I'm choosing one here, because it adds some, a really fun, playful softness to your space, that ambient lighting, of course, and you don't have to hardwire, which I absolutely love. So leading out into the hallway, that wall right here, we're going to fill up that space with a longer, lower console, something that you can still hide the things that you need for your TV. And then we're going to either mount that TV or just set it on top. My preference would be to mount, but it's completely up to you. And then here's my chicken scratch bookshelf. So along that wall, you will have a bookshelf. And then I have 3 library lamps that are at the top of the bookshelf that will just, again, they don't need to be hardwired. You can mount them and you can use a remote in order to turn them on. And that will be styled with all of your books, all of the books, the pictures, candles, plants, you name it. We're going to make it really intentional here. And then right here, what you see is that ottoman that's really rather large, sitting in the middle of those 2 chairs here. It's going to fill up the room a little bit more, and you're going to style it with a tray, a plant, maybe a candle. And then the other thing too, this cute little side table here, that was the side table I was talking about keeping so that you could have it on one side, probably over on this side as a side table instead of using it as a coffee table. All right, Dee, how did I do? How did I challenge you? What do you think about this room edit? And are you going to do it? That is yet to be seen. It is so much fun, you guys, giving you these ways and the possibilities that can be seen when you've been living in your home for so long and you've had it a certain way for so long. Room edits allow for a little bit of creativity to happen. Now, whether Dee does this or not, it gives her an idea of how she can better utilize the space. And working together, of course, we can work together in order to either bring this to life or bring a version of it to life that is more comfortable for you and Jim. But I do hope that you consider the idea of color drenching. How fun would that be, and how gorgeous would that be in your space? I don't always hear back from the members who I do room edits for, but I heard back from Dee almost the very next day. And this is what she says. Wow, wow, wow. Jim and I watched the room edit together with a glass of wine. Okay, can we just stop and say how amazing that is? Because that is exactly what I'm picturing and envisioning in that room. What I don't know is, were they watching it in that room? Dee, you'll have to tell us. Room drenching? Yes, I've seen it online, but never thought about it for our home. I love the idea for this room. I'm sitting in here right now. Putting the wood on the ceiling is a yes. Removing the mirrors and adding a gallery wall is a yes. 2 leather recliners would be pretty and warm. I'm thinking we might want a 3rd chair seating. Sometimes a neighbor or a family member sits in here with us. I never thought curtains would fit in the room due to the space, but now I can see it. I won't go on and take your time. You are amazing. Oh, thank you, Dee. I'm sure I'll be making an SOS call soon so we can plan this room. This is so exciting. And there you heard it from Dee. You will have to stay tuned to know, does she color drench? Does she not? What color does she go with? And how moody is it? Stay tuned, because this is going to be one that we're going to definitely have to have a part 2 on. Okay, until next time, I'll see you soon. Hey, real quick before you go, if you learned something new or found value in today's podcast, would you head over to iTunes to Fig and Farm at Home and leave a review and subscribe to the show? That would be awesome. And if you'd like to connect with my community of mamas who are learning to be intentional storytellers within their own homes, join us at bit.ly/design101 group. There's always more room at the table. See you soon.